child is born, unto us he's given, born to redeem us, the Holy One of Israel. He will rule in the house of Jacob, sit on the throne of David. He will establish truth and justice, uphold a righteous judgment, and the government shall be on his shoulders, and his name will be called Wonderful, Wonderful Counselor, Father forever, mighty Elohim, Prince of Peace, Commander of heaven, of thousands, Yahweh, Selah, from this time forth and forevermore. The zeal of Yah will do it. There will be no end. 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 Ever increasing, his throne is unceasing. The nations are streaming, the islands are singing. Wonderful Counselor, Father forever, mighty Elohim, Prince of Peace. The government shall be on his shoulders, and of his kingdom there will be no end, no end, no end, no end, no end, no giant, Jesus' name, no
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. My name is Jason.
Okay, I'm Jaden.
I'm Nicole.
I'm Eli.
And we are the Yahuwah and the Torah channel, and we thank you guys very, very much for being a part of our family. We love you guys very, very much. We very much value our digital family that we have out there, and we know that you guys are our family because our Messiah said that those who keep the laws, statutes, and commandments are his brothers and his family, and you guys are those people. We've seen you guys out here for a very, very long time, and we really, really appreciate the camaraderie that we have amongst all of us. And we have found just a very, we're very blessed. We're baraka that we have such a great group of people out there. And I know a lot of you guys value the Boss Clan, but we really value you guys. We really value those who are out there, who are doing it, who are part of Yah's kingdom, who are existing in this crazy world that has basically been overtaken by the devils and demons, just like the scriptures say. And here we are in the end of the end days, and we are the people that are seeking our Creator. And we're not only seeking Him, but we're seeking His ways, and we're seeking His calendars. And this week, we believe that we have changed our calendar up a little bit. Before, we were, I guess what you would call quite a lunar keeper, but we started our new months based upon the new moon. And Miss Nicole has been researching this. We've all been researching it. We've been going back and forth in a little forum that we have on Telegram. And we believe that the Zadok way of the calendar is the correct way forward for us. Now, before everybody starts throwing tomatoes at us and tossing us down the hole and saying, well, I've done this for 55 years this certain way, it can't be any other way. Guys, there's nothing in scriptures that is a definite lead to exactly the way of the calendar. The calendar and the ways of Yah always require seeking out. It requires a truth test. It requires a tremendous amount of diligence. And you have to take these calendars and you have to take the appointed times that we have and you have to place them in a year. You have to see, do they all line up? Do they line up with the ways of Enoch? Do they line up the ways of Scripture? Do they line up with the way of all our other apocryphal books that we have out there? And the way that we were doing it, we were not. We did not, and we were not able to get this completely right. There's questions that people are not able to answer. One of the questions is for the lunar people is, when is a new month? Is a new month when it's completely dark, or is it when it's 1%, or when there's 3%? Right there with that question, we end up with a tremendous amount of calendars and a lot of people. And there's nowhere in scriptures, not a single place, that tells us what a new moon is. Is a new moon a sliver? Is a new moon completely dark? There's nothing. And so we're tiptoeing into the Zadok way of the keeping calendar, keeping times. And if you guys are keeping the Zadok calendar, this week would have been a new year for you. So this is the month of Abib. This is where we are beginning our countdown to Passover and to our appointed times that we have. And for those who keep the lunar way, I got nothing but love for you guys. To those who keep a Shabbat when the sun comes up, and that's the beginning of it, I don't see you guys as an error. What I see still for us is, I believe still that the Hebrew day does begin when the sun sets. And again, I don't see us as falling away from grace, that we're all trying to attempt to try to get these dates and align these things. And we've been in Torah for a very, very long time. We've looked and we've examined many different kind of calendars that are out there. And as you try to piece them together and try to get them to fit with all the things we know, it's very difficult. And I believe that we are on the better path at this moment for us and our family. I'm not saying that everybody needs to jump over to this calendar or do anything of the same. It is about seeking it and finding it out. That is the way that we're going to be. So, Cade, will you open us in prayer, please?
First Father, this day, and thank you for bringing us all together once again as a united family, looking for your Torah, for your word. And we ask that your Ruach and your will is with us today as we look for your calendars, we look for your dates, as we look for your appointed times as you have set out for us, as the appointed times are coming up, the time you have set apart until us to follow, to keep, as we are your people, and you'll be our Elohim. We thank you for this Shabbat, and we ask that people with us today are blessed, that you put the Ruach on our eyes to see what you have written out for us, that we put on our hearts to understand. We thank you for all. In Yeshua's name, amen.
Okay. All right, Jade, will you please give us a Shema? And guys, for those who do not know what the Shema is, the Shema is a little excerpt of Deuteronomy. It is in Deuteronomy 6. And it is what Shema means. It means hear and obey. And so this is actually a commandment in scriptures that we are going over. The very first thing, for those that didn't know, the Shema is part of it. And this commandment says what, Jade?
Hear, O Israel, Yahuwah Elohim, Yahuwah is one. You shall love Yahuwah your Elohim with all your heart, with all your being, and with all your might. And these words I am commanding you today shall be in your heart, and you shall impress them upon your children. You shall speak of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, when you lie down, and when you rise up. And shall bind them as a sign on your hand, and they shall be frontlets between your eyes. You shall write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates.
So, guys, what we're speaking about right here is we're talking about how our commander-in-chief, how our creator wants us to exist. The one thing that he wants us to do, which is very upmost, which is the very first thing besides hear and obey, is he tells us to love him with all your heart and with all your being and with all your might. I've gone over this before, and when you talk to folks and people out there who are what they call, I guess, not Torah keepers, the people that believe the laws, statutes, and commandments are gone away from us, and that all of these extremely vital words that our Creator has presented for us as a way of life, that they don't mean anything to them. And I don't know, and when you ask them how it is that they love their creator with all their heart, with all their mind, and with all their soul, when they take all of his words, especially in the Torah, which are found in Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, and they throw it in the trash. They throw it in a place that they don't apply it to their lives. And when you are taking the laws, statutes, and commandments away, you aren't speaking of them when you sit in your house. You aren't talking about them when you walk by the way, and you're definitely not thinking about them when you lie down or rise up. He goes even further and says that we need to write them as a sign on our hand, and that they are frontlets between our eyes. What that whole verse means right here is this means that everything that you do, if you are not observing life through the eyes of the Torah, you're not following this command. If you look at the entire world and you write them on the frontlets of your eyes, that means you're not able to see anything in your world without first seeing the Torah. And this is our base for life. This is our litmus test for right and for wrong. This is the way forward, and so many of us have gotten rid of it. We don't care what it is. But this commandment alone is one of the reasons that we go over the laws, statutes, and commandments every Shabbat, because they are vitally important to all of this. And so what we are going to do now, Mr. Cole is going to say hi to all our friends, family, brothers and sisters, as we are getting ready to read the laws, statutes, and commandments of our Creator.
All right, we have Jeremy and Callan.
What's up? Jeremy and Callan, what's up?
We have the grandma. We have Bonecat 1, 𝐤𝐄𝐄, Lisa and Bear.
What's up, Lisa? Give Bear a big hug. We love Bear too.
Candy, Sylvia, Ruby, Genie Not of This World.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Candy, Ruby, Sylvia.
Mama CA.
Ladies. Hi, Mama CA.
Let's see. Obi Lines and Carla.
Chris, what's up, brother? Carla, love you. Give Joey a big hug.
I think that's everybody.
Well, if we missed you, we
I'm
did not
sorry.
mean to miss you. We love you guys very, very, very much. Now, what we're going to do right here, guys, is we are going to read the laws, statutes, and commands. Mr. Cole says, hold on.
That.
Okay.
The Grand wants to know, like, back to the calendar stuff.
Yeah.
And what do you do with the things that happen, like, to Joshua, and the Book of Kings, where time stood still? I think it still relates to the sun, the equinoxes, and everything like that. Still, if you're calculating all that, it's still going to come in the right times.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's one of those things. We have some old timers that really like the ball Earth, like the whole concept. Like prior to NASA and the Freemasons giving us the spinning ball Earth, we didn't have much of that. We didn't know about that. Throughout Scriptures, it talks about a firmament, right? Right on the beginning of Genesis, it talks about a firmament. And if you look up that word, it's like a fishbowl. We are in some sort of a fishbowl. And so when things of that nature, where the sun, moon, and stars or something has to stand still, I don't think it stops the rotation. Like if you were a spinning world, like all of a sudden you would have to say that if you're stopping the sun, you would stop every planet. You were under the hoax that we are in a things are spinning all around us, which is what they sell us. That would be a big deal if you stop the sun. I think if you stop the sun and moon, just like in Joshua, things like this, I don't see it as being a calendar breaker. Mister, do you have anything else on that?
No, Jeremy just says it doesn't affect the days or the time.
I mean, it's essentially just stopped, right? I mean, time stopped for that brief moment, and then it continued back on. So hopefully that explains that. But Boss Clan, we are firm believers in a firmament. We have not found any kind of understanding other than what people tell us in our classroom with a spinning ball. It doesn't look like it's spinning to us. It looks like our Creator has created a place for us that is an amazing place, and that He has given us dominion over this place. And it is beautiful, and it's completely great. So let's continue on.
Jeremy says Yahoo is terranium.
Yeah, it is. It's essentially, we're in a terranium. And I don't see any evidence of anything spinning, but you'll have the old timers, and they'll tell you, oh, yeah, it's spinning for sure because I was. So there you go. All right, now we're going to head over here, and we are going to go over the laws, statutes, and commandments of our Creator. Very, very, very important things. These things are they're the lifeline. They are a lifeline to us. Every one of us should be very upset in a world that we were not presented with this Scriptures, with this Torah, because these things are amazing, right? I wouldn't know as a person that I shouldn't be drinking blood. You would look at all these Satanists, you look at everyone around you, and they're all doing the old cheers, and everybody's drinking the kids' blood and blood everywhere. But when we read things in the Torah, these amazing things have been presented before us, it is very clear we're not to drink the blood. We're not to have anything to do with it. There's life in the blood. Be very excited about these laws, statutes, and commandments that we've been given free. It didn't cost us anything. We didn't have to go into enslavement for them. In fact, when you keep them, you will be freer than those who are enslaved to a world without the Torah. That is called enslavement. That is called complete enslavement. When you are in a world of sin and you can't get out of it, you don't even know you're in it. You're just there, and that's that. Okay. So let us continue on. Commandment number 1. You can get pressurized atmosphere next to a vacuum without a barrier. Yeah, there's things, guys. You can't ignite fire in a vacuum of space, right? They say that they're cruising around outside in the vacuum of space. You can go on YouTube and try to look at all these guys that try to start a fire in a vacuum of space. It doesn't happen, right? And so
Grand. She's like flying in a vacuum. That would suck.
That would absolutely suck. That would suck wild, and you're going to be flying all around in that stuff. Everything they've told us, you look at the little spaceman suits that these guys go to, and then they tell us that, a pop can would be crushed into a thing in the atmosphere and how cold it is. And then you watch these NASA videos and they have bubbles coming up looks like they're at the bottom of the ocean. They're not even in space. But yet we are told to believe this. And here we are. We are the people of the second what is 1,000 years? What is 1,000 years? It's not a millennium. Millennium, yeah. We're the second people of the second millennium. So we're all kind of messed up with what we have. Now let's get to these laws, statutes, and commandments, which are awesome, which are not corrupted, which cannot be corrupted, and we hope that they can't be corrupted. I don't think they can. They're pretty simple enough. All right, commandment number 1: be fruitful.
Commandment number 2: multiply.
Replenish the earth.
Subdue it. Have dominion over the fish, fowl, and every living creature.
Never a straight answer. I just had to say that for Jeremy's NASA. Never a straight answer. That's what you get from NASA. Okay, sorry. Continue.
Commandment 5: the earth bearing and every tree is for food.
Man and woman should build their own families.
Master sin. Every clean moving thing that lives shall be food for you.
Do not eat the blood.
And we are told this: do not eat the blood. 3, 6, 9. 9 times right there, maybe 10 if my counts are right. There's 10 times, 9 or 10 times that we are told not to eat the blood. Some of these commandments we don't have 9 or 10 times. Some of them we have one single time. But we have this do not eat the blood, which is a very important thing, right? Something about the blood is what we should not be eating. It's the life blood. Let's continue on.
Commandment 10: walk before me and be perfect.
Guard Yahuwah's covenant, laws, statutes, and commandments.
Every male shall be circumcised 8 days old. Teach your children the commands and guard the way of Yahuwah.
Remember Yahuwah's name for all generations.
The Passover, Pesach. Keep the feast of unleavened bread.
There's one Torah, law for the stranger and the Hebrew.
You sanctify all firstborn to Yahuwah.
There are no mighty ones before Yahuwah.
You shall not make graven images. Do not bring Yahuwah's name to naught.
Keep the Shabbat.
Honor your parents. Do not kill.
Do not break wedlock.
Do not steal. Do not make false accusations against your neighbor.
Do not covet anything of your neighbor's.
Do not make an altar for any rock that it will touch. Do not go up to the altar by the steps.
If a man steals cattle, he shall restore it 5 times.
Yahuwah's laws for criminals. Do not lie with beasts.
No sacrifices to other gods.
Do not oppress the stranger, fatherless, or widow. Do not charge your brother interest.
If you borrow your neighbor's raiment, return it to him before sunset.
Do not curse the ruler of your people. Do not eat what is torn of any beast.
No false report.
Do not follow the multitude of evil. Do not judge righteously against the poor.
Bring back your enemy's cattle if you find it going astray.
Help the animals of your enemies. Stay away from rumors and gossipers.
Take no bribes.
Do not oppress the stranger, love the stranger. Give your land rest in the 7th year.
Do not mention any pagan names.
Keep the feast of Yahuwah. Do not cook your goat in his mother's milk.
Obey the messenger Yahuwah sends before you.
Do not bow down to other Elohim. Serve Yahuwah.
Make no covenant with other Elohim or outsiders of the land.
Do not make use of anointing oil on a normal person. Do not make use of perfume on a normal person. Do not eat the fat.
Do what you say you are going to do.
Return what is your neighbor's. Obey Yahuwah's dietary laws.
Women's time of separation.
Let's go back real quick to obey Yahuwah's dietary laws. Because I saw this thing on YouTube. This guy was going off on. He says that over 58% of any of the food that we eat right now destroys the human body. And I will tell you that we are we used to be very GMO-free family. Coming down into South America, it's not as easy as it is in the States, and you can actually do this stuff. But this is part of Yah's dietary guidelines, right? He gives us some things that are simple things that we eat. And if we stuck to Leviticus 11, we would not be dying like we are right now. We are dying as a people. We are dying as a world. We are dying as humans because of the things that we eat. And for those who do not eat GMO-free food or know the dangers of this, if you eat a bag of Skittles, simply by eating the yellow 5, yellow 6, red 4, red 40, blue 1s, blue, all these different dyes, the dyes I just mentioned are killing dyes. They make you stupider with every single bite you eat. So as we eat these nasty foods, and the thing about this, what's really, really strange, is the North America, United States of America, is one of the only largest countries that allow this kind of food. If you go to Europe, many of the dyes and the colors and the various killing things are extremely, they're not there, right? They don't have them. The other countries will not allow their people to be killed by this, but yet here we are. Now, if we were sticking to Leviticus 11, we would absolutely not have any pork in our diets. We would not have shrimp. We would not have shellfish. We would not have anything that could potentially hurt us in this kind of thing, which is why it is very, very important that we do to keep the dietary laws. It's very important for all of us when we do this. So, all right, do we have anything?
Yeah, hold on, I gotta find it. Carla, she says, don't people who consume blood lose their humanity? Jeremy says, yes. It's the life, and to consume it is to eat the dust like the serpent.
What I have listened to when we listen to the Satanists that are drinking blood as part of their life, and some of it, I think I've come to discover is that when they drink this adrenochrome, it's kind of like a heroin. It gets you extremely high. Something about, and I don't want to go too far into this, but when the Satanists will torture the children, that when they are at the peak of being tortured, they drain that blood, and inside of that blood is the adrenochrome. Blood in of itself without the adrenochrome is very, very bad. But what we have when they're basically back in the days of Cain and Abel, right? When you read the book of Adam and Eve, it's very different than the actual scriptures. When Cain killed Abel, the ground. And he was trying to bury him, the ground kept spewing him back out. It would not allow Cain to hide the evidence of the blood. Something about the blood, and we don't know. I don't know. I'm sure scientists and the people that actually know about it, but what the life is in the blood, the end user like us, we don't know. But there is life in the blood, right? You cut somebody's throat, they're dead. They will bleed out. The blood is gone. It's there. People get all these blood-borne diseases all the time. They have all these crazy STDs that get in the blood. The blood is a very key part to our humanity, and it is something amazing that our Creator has given as literally the water, liquid life of us internally. Besides water and blood, that's about the biggest builders in our system. And so, yeah, there's something with it, and that's why these guys do this. That's why there is this commandment, and that's why the Satanists, I mean, all of them. What's that little Satanist girl that used to carry around the blood around her neck? With that other Satanist guy, Angelina Jolie, the Satanist, and her whatever her Satanist warlock friend was.
Billy Bob Thornton.
Yeah, Billy Bob Thornton, the warlock guy. They used to carry around each other's blood, and they used to drink it all the time, and it was a big part of their thing. They're all Satanists, right? We are told not to be these people. We are told to be apart from this, away from any of this evil. So yeah, definitely don't drink the blood. Okay, anyone know where we're at by chance? 62. Let's do it.
When is time of separation? 63. Obey Yahuwah's hygiene laws. Keep the Day of Atonement, Yom-HaKippurim.
Do not uncover the nakedness of your family.
Do not take your woman's sister for wife.
Do not lie with a woman in her uncleanness. You shall not sacrifice your children to Moloch.
Do not be sodomite.
Be Kodesh. Do not reap the corners of your field, or you shall not glean your vineyard.
Do not deal falsely or defraud your neighbor.
Do not lie or be a liar. Pay your words for the day's wage they are due.
Do not harm the disabled.
Do not endanger your neighbor. Do not hate your brother.
Rebuke your neighbor for his sin.
Love your neighbor as yourself. Do not averse your cattle.
Do not mingle your seed.
Do not mingle linen and wool. Do not take in woman.
Do not eat the fruit of the trees for 3 years.
Do not practice sorcery. Do not round your beard or the corners of your head.
Do not cut yourself for the dead.
Do not get tattoos. Do not prostitute your daughter.
Do not defile your temple.
Do not consult the medium. Respect your elders.
Have correct weights and measures.
Do not walk in the manners of the nation. Keep the feast of first fruits, Shavuot, and recount Pentecost.
Keep the feast of trumpets, Yom Teruah.
Keep the feast of Sukkot, Shemini Atzeret. If you blaspheme the name of Yahuwah, you shall be put to death.
If you kill your neighbor's animal, you must give him another.
Repay injury for injury. Honor the Obel, Jubilee year.
Confess your sins to Yahuwah and repay who you have trespassed against.
The law of being Nazir. Wear easy on the four corners of your garments.
The laws of whoever touches a corpse.
Follow Yahuwah's law of inheritance.
The Torah of keeping your oath to Yahuwah.
Do not add or take away from the word.
Guard your soul.
Learn to fear Yahuwah.
You shall love Yahuwah with all your heart.
Bind the laws upon your hand in the front of the screen, your eyes.
Write the laws on your doorposts.
Do not tempt Yahuwah.
Do what is right and good in the sight of Yahuwah.
Do not be afraid of your enemies.
Remember Yahuwah.
Circumcise your heart.
Cleave to Yahuwah.
Swear by his name.
Destroy graven images.
Do not make an idol of Yahuwah as the pagans do to their Elohim.
Rejoice in all Yahuwah has blessed you with.
Do not do what is good. Do not do what is right in your own eyes.
Do not hearken to the words of false prophets.
Do not make any baldness between your eyes for the dead.
You shall not eat any abominable thing.
You shall give to a stranger of clean food that dies of itself, but you shall not eat of it.
Give tithe of your increase of seed year by year.
Law to the end of the 7-year lease.
Do not borrow from the nations.
Do not harden your heart nor shut your hand from the poor.
Guard month 1 of Yahuwah's calendar.
3 times a year, all males shall appear before Yahuwah.
You shall make judges and officers in all your gates.
Do not plant astral poles near the altar.
There must be 2 or 3 witnesses.
Hearken unto the prophet Yahuwah has chosen.
Prophetess of Deuteronomy.
Do not remove your neighbor's property line.
How to deal with a false witness among Torah keepers.
All right, let's do it real quick. And so, Carla, we were replying to Carla on this thing. So even the ground did not give, it was not accepting of the blood of Abel. And I got to go back to that whole blood thing. Because I remember back when I did watch TV, I watched this thing about like life vampires, real life vampires. And it was a real creepy thing. But these 2 people, it was a married couple, and they would take a little razor blade and they would just make a little X all over the other person's body, and they would start sucking that blood, and they would start talking about how it made them well and how it made them feel better, and how they were really, like, if they did not get that blood on their spouse or whatever, that they get hooked into it just like any other drug. And so, yeah, there is absolute life in the blood. And what was it? What was it? The lesson Carl said.
It's just so not even the ground eats
Yeah,
the blood.
yeah, that's it. Okay, so that's it. It's crazy. I know someone who eats raw beef. Isn't that still full of blood? Yeah. You do that. I mean, we've butchered our own cows and stuff like that. There's blood throughout all of the meat. It doesn't matter if it's a chunk of meat. There's blood in it. It was part of the cow, and you cut it up. There's always blood in all the stuff when you're I used to do that too. I used to eat medium rare steaks. My grandpa used to say, let's, the waiter would come up. He goes, I want it so bloody it moves, or so bloody it can be recovered. And so that's the thing. And my stepdad did the same thing. They all loved bloody meat. It's just barely cooked, not cooked well. So yeah, that's eating the blood. That's breaking the commandments. That's doing what is an abomination to our Creator as well. Okay, what's next? Anyone here?
41, I think. No, I think it's 40.
Yeah,
right.
142.
142.
First child's get double portions.
If your brother's cattle or clothes are lost and you find them, you must return them.
A woman shall not wear what pertains to a man, nor a man wear what pertains to a woman.
If you find a bird's nest with the mother and the babies or eggs, take the babies and not the mother.
If you build a new house with flat roofs that will be lived on, you must put a railing around it.
Do not be a prostitute.
Do not use dirty money.
The law of divorce.
Do not take a person's millstone for pledge.
If you lend to your brother, do not enter his house to get your payment. He must bring it to you. Return his clothing before sunset if the house is pledged.
Do not oppress a hired servant that is poor and needy.
Every man shall be put to death for his own sin.
Do not go back for the forgotten sheaf in the field. Leave it for the stranger, fatherless, and widow.
Do not muzzle your ox when he treads out grain.
If your brother dies and has no child, you shall take his wife and name the firstborn after your brother.
At the end of 7 years, you are to read the Torah, the feast of Sukkot.
All right. Yeah, so can you read what Jeannie said about Enoch and his spirits, please?
Yahuwah made the earth and it's alive and was blessed. I was reading in Enoch, the winds of Ruach too.
Yeah, so that's, the book of Enoch is one of those really interesting books. Very, very, very interesting. We learn a lot about everything with that book. And not only, do you guys remember here, Kate, are you taking off on me?
No.
Okay. You guys remember what Ruachs there are? There's wind, there's rain, there's hail. Everything that Yah does it's all him, right? We're all sitting here, we're breathing in air that is a necessity for the human being that our Creator has built, right? And it's just an incredible thing. And I remember reading that in Enoch, that about the wind. And I remember sitting out there thinking about that as the wind's blowing. Down here we literally have 2 seasons, but sometimes we call it 3 seasons because we joke around, because during summer season, the wind will blow like 40, 50 miles an hour on average, just for days on end. And I remember that. I remember thinking about how this is the spirit of Yah. This is his hand. And when you read Enoch and you read about the gates and the gates of the sun coming out, the moon coming out, and the gates where they end, and you draw it up on a piece of paper, it makes a tremendous amount of sense. And when people go over that and read Enoch and go, look, this is how the sun actually comes out of a gate. This is how the moon comes out of the gate. These are the days it comes out. You can match this all to the rest of everything that we know right now, and it makes a tremendous amount of sense. Our Creator isn't just, he's not a chump. He's not a chump. He's got everything dialed in beyond what we could ever imagine. And there is no greater entity to worship than the creator of all of this, right? When we can't even fathom it, when we can't explain how blood works or why it gets to Satanist high and these people are doing it, we just have to know that our creator is awesome and he has he's built an amazing world. All right. So here we are, guys. We are going into Exodus right now. We are reading out of Yah Scriptures. Yah Scriptures is a free PDF that you guys can get. It is a restored names Scriptures. Miss Nicole, if you will throw a link in there when you can, I would appreciate it. Jade, where are we at in Exodus? Tell me a little bit about what's happening. Let's go from here.
Moshe is still on the mount. He is still getting commands and how to build everything. We learned how to build the Ark of the Covenant, how to build the tabernacle, and he is still up there learning how to build stuff and getting commands from Yahuwah because the people were too afraid. So he is up there right now getting his instructions and his blueprints.
All right, so here we are, and if I make a mistake in the reading, my apologies to everybody. I'm really struggling with vision today. Actually, it was yesterday probably worse than today, but I got my glasses and I got my magnifying glass, so I'm going to make the most of this and try to get through this before I lose my vision completely. Yay, 29. And this is the task you shall do to them, to kadosh them, to serve me as Kohen. Take 1 bull and 2 rams, perfect ones. Who's he talking to? Who's the Kohen?
This is Aaron and his sons.
Okay, so take 1 young bull and 2 rams, perfect ones, and 11 bread and 11 cakes mixed with oil, and 11 wafers anointed with oil. Make these with wheat flour. And you shall put them in 1 basket and bring them in the basket, along with the bull and the 2 rams. Then you shall bring Aaron and his sons to the door of the tent of appointment, and wash them with water. And you shall take the garments, and shall put on Aaron the long shirt, and the long robe of the shoulder garment, and the shoulder garment, and the breastplate, and shall gird him with the embroidered band of the shoulder garment. I wish to find a better reading copy of Enoch 1. I only have the Sefer. Well, the Grand, we have a huge book, and in fact, Miss Nicole, send her the Apocrypha that has our...
Well, I was also I have the PDF.
Okay.
That I'll email to her.
Okay.
As well.
Yeah,
if she wants it in hard copy, we do have it on Amazon, but I'm
Yeah.
not promoting on a Shabbat.
Yeah, and we're not promoting anything on Shabbat, but we have these out there. The free PDFs are out there. So the Grand, we have a very good version of this. I think you'll be able to see as well. So Mr. Cole will send that to you, and anybody that wants that, it's out there everywhere. And also, if you download the free Apocrypha on our site, it has that as well. And I think there's a lot of different versions of Enoch. I think this is a proper version. I think this is more the proper. We shall see, I guess. So we'd have to do some study on that as well. Okay, let's continue on. 5. And you shall take the garments and shall put on Aaron the long robe, the long shirt, and the robe of the shoulder garment, and the shoulder garment, and the breastplate, and shall gird him with the embroidered band of the shoulder garment, and shall put the turban on his head, and shall put the Kodesh sign of dedication on the turban, and shall take the anointing oil and pour it on his head and anoint him. Then you shall bring his sons and put long shirts on them, and shall gird them with girdles, Aaron and his sons, and put the turbans on them, and the kahuna shall be theirs for an everlasting law. So you shall ordain Aaron and his sons. Now, what do you guys think about this anointing oil? Do you think this was a big mess? Like after they got anointed with oil, do you shower up after this? Do you just, is it like grease? Like, people put grease in their hair or something, and you can comb it out. Or how much do you think the anointing, how much oil was there?
I don't know. I mean, we know, I think it talked about the horn of oil when Samuel was anointing the kings, like horn of oil, which I don't know how big the horn was, depending on which animal it was.
Yeah, it depends on how big the horn is. It could be like a tiny little horn, like we had little goat horns, it'd be like hardly nothing. But if there was a lot of oil, that's going to be, do you think this is part of the process right here, that we're putting the oil on and clothing him all this at the same time? Or is it like maybe anointing oil, cleaning him up?
Yeah, maybe become clean before Yahuwah.
Because if not, I mean, if this oil is going to get all over your stuff. We don't know what this actual ceremony looked like. Okay, 8. Then you shall bring his sons and put long shirts on them, and shall gird them with girdles, Aaron and his sons, and put the turbans on them, and the kuna shall be theirs for an everlasting law. So you shall ordain Aaron and his sons. And you shall bring near the bull before the tent of appointment, and Aaron and his sons shall lay their hands on the head of the bull. And you shall slaughter the bull before Yahuwah by the door of the tent of appointment, and take some of the blood of the bull and put it on the horns of the altar with your finger, and pour all the blood beside the base of the altar. And you shall take all the fat that covers the entrails, and the appendage on the liver, and the 2 kidneys, and the fat that is on them, and burn them on the altar. But the flesh of the bull, and its skin, and its dung, you shall burn with fire outside the camp. It is a sin offering. And take 1 ram, and Aaron and his sons shall lay their hands on the head of the ram.
Keep going.
Keep going. Okay. And cut the ram in pieces, and wash its entrails and its legs, and place them upon its pieces and on its head. Now, guys, this doesn't sound like a huge process, but as people down here that we have killed and slaughtered our cows and our neighbors' cows for them, it is a big deal. This is everything from the slaughtering to where you're cleaning it. This is a big event. This is something that it's not quick. It's not something, and it's not clean either. I don't know how these guys are able to do this. And I think my guess is at the end of the day, they all look like they got blood splatters all over them, be my guess. But this is a messy process. It takes a while to do. And it's not something that it's just, you read it and this is what they're doing. But this is a huge process. This is like hours long processes, grabbing this stuff and getting through this entire thing. Okay, 17. And cut the ram in pieces and wash its entrails and its legs and place them upon its pieces and on its head. And you shall burn the entire ram on the altar. It is a burnt offering to Yahuwah. It is a sweet fragrance, an offering made by fire to Yahuwah. So this is some of what people probably don't get. You get outsiders that go, your creator is bloodthirsty guy. He wants you to kill all the people. He wants you to kill all the animals. And this is the way it is. People do not understand that if we were a Torah observant people, back then as well, if we were Torah observant, we did not break the Torah, then we wouldn't be having to have blood offerings. This is the entire reason that our Messiah had to come, because he became this sacrifice. And if we did not have him, then we would continue on, because our creator, we are such a filthy people that we can't keep Torah. We can't keep Kodesh like we should. Dark thoughts, evil thoughts in our head make us unclean in the ways of our creator. And so we're not just out there killing animals. We're appeasing the creator of the universe for our problems, for the things that we have done, that we have caused him problems with. And so when we're talking about it, what is this offering? Well, it's a sweet fragrance. This is what it's like, a chunk of steak that smells really, really super good. And my apologies for my dogs here. And this is what our creator wants as an appeasement to him. And I don't see this as a bad thing. I see this as something that if you don't understand it, you're not going to get it. And it's going to seem really weird, especially when you look into the amount of animals that are slaughtered all the time. And when you are slaughtering an animal, the people that are slaughtering it, at least for us, when we were slaughtering it, it's not a joke. You're taking the life of something, and every single one of these animals are smart. They are intelligent enough. They look at you. If they could speak English, you probably. And then slaughtering an animal is a very hard thing to do, regardless if you're a butcher or regardless if you're a Levite. But taking the life of something for the sins and the disobedience that we as a people were producing, and this is the reason for these slaughterings. Okay, it's 19. And you shall take the second ram, and Aaron and his sons shall lay their hands on the head of the ram, and you shall slaughter the ram, and take some of his blood and put it on the tip of the right ear of Aaron, and on the tip of the right ear of his sons, on the thumb of their right hand, and on the big toe of their right foot, and sprinkle the blood all around on the altar. And guys, when they say things like put their hand on the thing and slaughter it, that is the death of an animal. And it's rough killing any animal. It doesn't matter, if this is a procedure or anything of the sort. There is a life that is being taken, and it's because of our disobedience. And this is why when we get into covenant with our creator, it is less than what it is. We want to be obedient to the very, very, very best of our abilities, because we don't want to be killing animals. We don't want to have things that die because we are not obedient. Is there anything in there?
Lisa just said I can't slaughter anything. I'd be a vegetarian.
Yeah, I've definitely thought about being a vegetarian. I'm not a huge fan of killing things at all. Okay, and so this is, guys, this is the Targums. We're reading in the next thing, and I think we lost the chat again because I didn't see her last thing that she said. So YouTube simply is a very crappy company when it comes to software development. The fact they can't even keep our chat going here on the screen, which is why I read it like I read it, so that I can hang out with all you guys. So it kind of irks me when they break it every single week. So anyway, the chat's off the screen, guys. So Mr. Cole's gonna have to let me know if anyone says anything. Okay, so here it is, the Targums, guys. This is a little book of sometimes a little leaven, and this is what we do: is we break this leaven out of here. Okay, Exodus 29:1, and this is the thing that you shall do to them to sanctify them, that they may serve before me. Take one bullock, the young of a bullock without spot, and 2 rams unblemished, and unleavened bread and unleavened cakes mingled with olive oil, and wafers of unleavened bread anointed with olive oil, with flour and with flour of wheat shall you make them. And you shall put them up on one basket, and offer them in the basket. And the bullock and the 2 rams they shall bring in a vehicle. All right, what does yours say? Because it didn't say a vehicle here. I know it does. Yours doesn't say a vehicle. 29:3. Attention, please.
Says in the basket along with the bolt and 2 rams. There's nothing.
It didn't say about a vehicle.
No, the only thing would be a basket.
Okay.
Like a wheelbarrow or something.
Yeah, and since the chat doesn't work, I might as well go to the split screen anyway. All right, so it doesn't say anything. Yeah, basket. They bring in a vehicle. And Aaron and his 2 sons you shall bring near to the door of the tabernacle of testimony, and wash them in 4 measures of living water. And you shall take the vestments and clothe Aaron with the tunic and the robe of the ephod, and the breastplate, and gird him or ordain him with the girdle of the ephod. And that goes back to the last week with the Graham. You were talking about David and his ephod and his, in Yah Scriptures, the actual Yah Scriptures, it says a linen. It doesn't actually say ephod. It says linen garment. And so the linen garment like David got into, I do not believe was anything like the priestly, what they call the ephods here. I don't think David would have done that. So we did read that a little bit after we had mentioned that. Okay, where are we at, fellas?
6.
Okay, 29:6. And you shall set the mitre on his head, and put the diadem upon which is engraven the name of holiness upon the mitre. And you shall take the anointing oil and pour it upon, and you shall bring his sons near, and dress them in the tunics, and ordain them with the girdles, Aaron and his sons, and wrap on them mitres, and the priesthood shall be theirs by an everlasting statute. And you shall offer the oblation of Aaron, and the oblation of his sons. And you shall bring the bullock before the tabernacle of ordinance, and Aaron and his sons shall lay their hands upon the head. And you shall kill the bullock before the door of the tabernacle of ordinance, and take of the blood of the bullock, and put it on the horns of the altar with your finger, and all the remaining blood you shall pour out at the foot of the altar. And you shall take all the fat that covers the inwards, and what remains upon the caul of the liver, and the 2 kidneys, and the fat which is upon them, and set them in order upon the altar. And the flesh of the bullock, and his skin, and his dung, you shall burn with fire without the camp. It is a sin offering. And the 1 ram you shall take, and Aaron and his sons shall lay their hands on the head of the ram. And you shall kill the ram, and take his blood, and sprinkle on the altar round about. Mr. Cole, do you have something?
Sylvia has a question. Were the Levite women ministering to the men before they went into the tent of the meeting to sacrifice?
I have never heard anywhere in Scriptures that women were ministering to men. Have you guys heard that? Anyone?
No. I have no idea. I don't think so.
We have a few. There's definitely some amazing women in Scriptures. Deborah. She kind of ministered to the men. I mean, at some level. As a judge. We don't know of any place anywhere that women have anything to do with anything in the Levitical priesthood. I can't remember anything. Anyone go around the table? Kate, Jade, anyone?
We know about them getting married, like the Levites marry inside the Levites.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah, females marry inside. They stay inside of their tribes, but we have nothing with a female inside ministry.
And they're allowed to eat around the table.
But that being said, I'm sure the priest got up in the morning and their wives made a breakfast or did something of the sort and helped them out. Took care of the stuff. In a way, I guess, kind of ministering to them, but I don't know if that's kind of what we're looking for. So I don't know if that answers that or not.
Sylvia said she was just thinking about it. She didn't know.
Yeah, I don't have any other place that we know that women have ministered to the men in that fashion in Scriptures. Probably happened somewhere, but not in the Scriptures. Okay, 29:17. Is this where I'm at, fellas?
Yep.
And the ram shall you divide according to his members, and wash his inwards and his legs, and set them in order upon his members and upon his head. Okay, what does that basically say? What is it?
I think I was saying the inward parts and set it up.
It's basically taking the dead animal and putting them all in a pile. All right, you divide it according to his members, wash his inward, and set them in order upon his members, upon his
Yeah, I
head.
think it's tying the inward parts and setting them back up on him.
Yeah, I think that's how, right before they get burned. And you shall offer the whole ram upon the altar. It is a slaughter before Yahuwah. Did you have something, Mr. Cole?
The Grand just says, would the woman be washing the Levite garments for the temple service?
I would imagine they would, right? I don't know. I don't know. That's a good question, Graham. We don't have anything in scriptures that says that. I mean, I'm sure somebody's got to wash something. I'm telling you, they're not going to be able to do this stuff with all this blood without getting blood all over your clothes. So I don't know. I don't know who actually washes it. I would say, yeah, probably. In that marriage style, they're ministering to their husband like that, washing their clothes. 29:18.
Yep.
And you shall offer the whole ram upon the altar. It is a slaughter before Yahuwah, to be accepted with favor, an oblation. It is before Yahuwah. And you shall lay the second ram, and Aaron and his son shall lay their hands upon the head of the ram. And you shall kill the ram, and take of his blood, and put upon the tip of Aaron's right ear, and upon the tip of the right ear of his sons, and upon the thumb of their right hands, and upon the toe of their right feet, and pour the rest of the blood upon the altar round about it. Now, guys, this is as much as Yahuwah, when we are drinking blood or anything of the sort, this is part of his thing. And because he feels and commands us such things about the blood, this blood ceremony is a huge thing to him. When they're putting the blood on the right toe and the right thumb of his priest, and anything that has to do with this, it's very, very important to our Creator in what he wants us to do. Okay, now we are 21.
Yep.
Heading back to Yah Scriptures, guys, let's continue on. And you shall take some of the blood that is on the altar, and some of the anointing oil, and sprinkle it on Aaron, and on his garments, and on his sons, and on the garments of his sons. And he and his garments shall be Kodesh, and his sons with the garments of his sons with him. Okay, so what did this just say? You shall take some of the blood that is on the altar, you're sprinkling it, right? You guys catch it?
On them to sanctify them.
Yeah, everybody's getting coated up with blood here, right? It's a sprinkling, but at the same time, you're going to have droplets of blood all over you.
Priests are unclean about 100% of the time.
Yeah, priests are unclean, and that's the thing about priests is priests don't have a Shabbat like we have. Back in the days, they worked, they did all their stuff. Priests are always working on all of this stuff. Okay, let's continue on. 22. And you shall take the fat of the ram, and the fat tail, and the fat that covers the entrails, and the appendage on the liver, and the 2 kidneys, and the fat on them, and the right thigh. It is for a ram of ordination. And 1 loaf of bread, and 1 cake made with oil, and 1 thin cake from the basket of the 11 bread that is before Yahuwah. And you shall put all these in the hands of Aaron, and in the hands of his sons, and you shall wave them a wave offering before Yahuwah. Then you shall take them from their hands, and burn them on the altar as a burnt offering, as a sweet fragrance before Yahuwah. It is an offering made by fire to Yahuwah. And you shall take the breast of the ram of Aaron's ordination, and wave it, a wave offering before Yahuwah, and it shall be your portion. And from the ram of ordination you shall wave, you shall Kodesh the breast of the wave offering which is waved, and the thigh of the contribution which is raised, of that which is for Aaron, and of that which is for his sons. And it shall be from the children of Israel for Aaron and his sons by a law forever. For it is a contribution, and it is a contribution from the children of Israel from their peace offerings, their contribution to Yahuwah. And the Kodesh garments of Aaron are for his sons after him, to be anointed in them and to be ordained in them. The Kohen from his sons in his place puts them on for 7 days when he enters the tent of appointment to attend in the Kodesh place. And take the ram of ordination and cook its flesh in a Kodesh place. And Aaron and his sons shall eat the flesh of the ram and the bread that is in the basket by the door of the tent of appointment. And they shall eat those with which the atonement was made to ordain them, to kadosh them. But let a stranger not eat them, because they are Kodesh. And if any of the flesh of the ordination offerings or of the bread be left over until morning, then you shall burn up what is left over. It is not eaten, because it is Kodesh. And so you shall do to Aaron and his sons, according to all I have commanded you. 7 days you shall ordain them, and prepare a bull each day as a sin offering for atonement. And you shall cleanse the altar when you make atonement for it, and you shall anoint it to kadosh it. For 7 days you shall make atonement for the altar and kadosh it. And the altar shall be most Kodesh. Whatever touches the altar is to be Kodesh. And this is what you can prepare on the altar: 2 lambs a year old, daily, continually. Okay, there's the 2 lambs. This is a huge count of the death that is happening on the altar. Prepare the one lamb in the morning, and the other lamb you prepare between the evenings. And 1/10 of an ephah of flour mixed with 1/4 of a hin of pressed oil, and 1/4 of a hin of wine as a drink offering with the one lamb. And prepare the other lamb between the evenings. And with it prepare the grain offering and the drink offering as in the morning, for a sweet fragrance, and an offering burnt made by fire to Yahuwah. A continual burnt offering for your generations at the door of the tent of appointment before Yahuwah, where I shall meet with you to speak with you. And there I shall meet with the children of Yisrael, and it shall be made Kodosh by my esteem. And I shall Kadosh the tent of appointment and the altar, and Aaron and his sons I Kadosh to serve as Kohim to me. And I shall dwell in the midst of the children of Yisrael, and shall be their Elohim. And they shall know that I am Yahuwah, their Elohim, who brought them up out of the land of Mitzrayim to dwell in their midst. I am Yahuwah, their Elohim. Okay, you have anything, Mr. Cole?
I do want to say hi to 3 people that came in. Honeymoon Stitch, Brian.
What's up, Brian?
Elizabeth.
Hi, Elizabeth. Is this our Liz? Hi, Liz.
Armando's.
Yeah, Armando's well. Hi.
And also, let's finish it.
Let's finish it. Hey, what's up, brother? Been a long time since he's been here. Much love.
But the Grand did have a question. It
Right.
says, speaking of cleaning, did Yeshua cleanse the heavenly sanctuary? I'm kind of struggling with this as I can't imagine Abba having uncleanliness in the heavenly sanctuary.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if Messiah would have to do anything in the Shamayim. I kind of doubt it. I think if you were, if you didn't want to be in the Shamayim, you kind of got booted out like Lucifer would be my guess. But he was obviously creating some sort of havoc in the days. I don't know. I don't think Messiah would have had to cleanse the heavenly thing. I don't think Yah would allow evil to flourish like it does down here on earth. I don't know.
Jeremy just says the sanctuary is heaven, can't be defiled, but he is prepping a place for his people.
Yeah, and there's some houses. He says there's a lot of houses up there, and they're waiting us somewhere, which is a good sign. And hopefully, all our long lost animals are up there in the houses as well. And I think that would be a wonderful treat for at least for us. Anyone else have anything?
And then Carlos says there's something about the liver and the kidneys, thinking about Tobias, which I think Tobit.
Yeah, Tobit. Yeah, the story of Tobit. Yeah, and there is something there, right? Because in the story of Tobit, I think it was the caul or the liver that he burned. When he burned that, it made the demons flee from where they were about to kill him. And so that is a great story. If you guys have not read that, that is actually in the Apocrypha. Very, very good story. So anything else that we have there? Let me continue on reading here. Okay, 29:21 in the Targums. And you shall take of the blood which is upon the altar, and of the anointing oil, and drop it upon Aaron, and upon his vestments, and on his sons, and on his sons' vestments with him. And you shall take of the ram, the fat and the tail, and the fat that covers the inwards, and which remains upon the caul of the liver, and the 2 kidneys, and the fat that is upon them, and the right shoulder, for it is the ram of oblation. And a lot of you guys probably wouldn't actually know like a lot of the stuff. We do have the experience in slaughtering things, and like I said, I don't think there's ever been I've never walked away from a slaughtering where I felt good or like, wow, this is great. In fact, every time I've had to fill my fridge with meat, I feel like I've hurt like a family member of ours, just because we love our animals so much. It's just crazy. And so yeah. I would probably stick to vegetarianism over having to slaughter animals over and over. Okay, 29:23. And one round of bread, and 1 cake of bread mingled with oil, and 1 wafer from the basket of unleavened bread, which is before Yahuwah. On all the hands of Aaron, and upon the hands of his sons, and shall uplift them for an elevation before Yahuwah. And you shall take them from their hands, and set them in order upon the altar, upon the burnt offering, to be received with acceptance before Yahuwah. It is an oblation before Yahuwah. And you shall take the breast of the ram of Aaron's oblation, and lift it up in elevation before Yahuwah, and it shall be your portion. And you shall consecrate the breast of the elevation, and the shoulder of the separation, which have been uplifted and separated from the ram of the oblation, from the hand of Aaron, and from the hand of his sons. And it shall be for Aaron and for his sons by a perpetual statute for the sons of Yasrael, because it is a separation. And a separation it shall be from the sons of Yasrael, from the offerings of their consecration, their separation before Yahuwah. And the set-apart vestments of Aaron shall be to his sons after him, to be anointed in them, and in them to offer their oblations. 7 days shall the priest wear them, who arises after him from his sons. but not from the Levites, at the time when he enters into the tabernacle of ordinance to minister in the sanctuary. All right, Cade, read 29:30 in Yah Scriptures. See what that says.
The Kohen from his sons in his place puts on for 7 days, which he enters the tent of appointment to attend the Kodesh place.
See, this one says, but not from the Levites. This is very interesting. 7 days shall the priest wear them who rises after him from his sons, but not from the Levites.
That makes no sense.
At the time when he enters in the tabernacle. I'm not sure what the Targum is trying to say here.
Specifically only for Aaron and his sons, not for like any of the other Levites that work in the temple.
Yeah, maybe.
So
Yeah, I think you're right on that. Yeah, so it's just for Aaron's kids, not from the rest of the Levites. All right, 29:31. And you shall take the ram of the oblation and boil its flesh in the set apart place. And Aaron and his son shall eat the flesh of the ram and the bread that is in the basket at the door of the tent of. And they shall eat those things by which atonement was made for them in offering their oblation, sanctify them to minister before me. But the profane shall not eat; they are apart. And if any of the flesh of the oblation and of the bread remain until the morning, burn that which remains with fire; it shall not be eaten, for it is sacred. And thus you shall do to Aaron and to his sons according to all that I have prescribed to you. 7 days you shall offer their oblation. And a bullock for a sin offering you shall offer daily for atonement, and shall anoint the altar in offering the atonement upon it. You shall anoint it to consecrate it. 7 days make you atonement upon the altar to consecrate it, and it shall be the altar of the set apart of set apart. Every one of the sons of Aaron who approaches to the altar must be set apart. To the rest of the people it is not lawful to approach, lest they be burned with the fiery flame which comes from the set apart place. All right, read 29:37, because ours doesn't say anything like that.
It says, for 7 days you shall make atonement to the altar and Kadosh it, and the altar shall be the most Kadosh. Whoever touches the altar is to be Kodesh.
Okay, so yeah, we get a little bit of extra stuff in this, and it says to the rest of the people it is not lawful to approach, which is probably, I mean, you can't, right? Lest they be burned with the fiery flame which comes from the set apart place. So I guess it's just a warning that they tossed in there. Okay, and this is the oblation which you shall perform upon the altar. 2 lambs of 1 year daily evermore. The 1 lamb you shall perform in the morning, and the 2nd lamb you shall perform between the evenings. And the 10th of flour mingled with oil of olives beaten, with a 1/4 of a henna, and the libation of a 1/4 of a henna for the 1 lamb. And the 2nd lamb you shall perform before evenings. It shall be as the mincha of the morning, and as the libation you shall do it, to be received with acceptance and oblation before Yahuwah. All right, what does yours say? Because mine doesn't say
And prepare the lamb between the evenings, and with it prepare the grain offering and the drink offering, as in the morning, for a sweet fragrance, an offering made by fire to Yahuwah.
All right, so I guess the mincha is like procedure, maybe, is what they're saying. Okay, 42. A perpetual slaughtering for your generations at the door of the tabernacle of ordinance before Yahuwah, where I will appoint my word to you there, to speak with you there. And there I will appoint my word with the sons of Yisrael, and I will be sanctified in their rulers for my glory. And I will sanctify the tabernacle of ordinance and the altar, and Aaron and his sons will I sanctify to minister before me. And my presence shall dwell in the midst of the sons of Yisrael, and I will be their Elohim. And the sons of Yisrael shall know that I am their Elohim, who led them out free from the land of Mitzrayim, to make my presence dwell among them. I am Yahuwah, their Elohim. All right. Well, everybody who's still with us, we thank you guys very, very much for being with us. We thank you for taking your time out today and for reading with us. Like I said before, you guys are all family to us. And like always, my dogs, they spool up right here. I don't know why. They know we're ending this up. So with that, everybody, we will close out with our normal song. And Jade, will you please bless the people? Try to keep the dogs contained there, too.
Yahuwah bless you and guard you. Yahuwah make his face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. Yahuwah lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. You shall put my name upon the children of Israel, and I will bless them.
Okay. All right, everybody. We thank you guys very, very much. The dogs are going to go off. We don't mean them to. It's just the way it is. We love you.
May tremble at your presence. Let your fire burn. Let the waters burn. Let your name be known to this generation. And come down. That you would rend the heavens and come down. Oh, that you would rend the heavens and come down. Will you restrain yourself any longer? Don't hide your face in your anger. When Jerusalem is oppressed by the nations, the place of your throne, a destination, come down.
All right, fam. May Yahuwah bless you and keep you. May his light forever shine upon you. May grace forever be found in our lives, and may the Torah be found in everything that we do, everything we say, everything it is. May you guys be blessed till next week. We love you all very much. We hope you have a wonderful week. We're out.
All right, shalom.